What's up, y'all? This is Mansoor coming at you with a brand new video, and today we're going to be looking at the clone effect in Premiere Pro. Let's get into it.
So we have Premiere Pro open. Now let's open up the sequence. Now I want you guys to take a close look at this because this is what we're going to be breaking down right now. So in this shot we have 3 clones, which means that this thing primarily is composed of 3 layers, and that is correct. But also we have an extra layer here, and that is for the shadow. And I'm going to get to that in a second. So this middle clone, which is the guy sitting on the chair, and then we have the left clone, which is this guy. Now the left clone on his own makes up most of the background, but he is not the background. He is not the main background. So now when I isolate the middle clone, he is on his own. Let me turn the shadow and luma off. He's on his own. And this is due to some masking, but also some keying. Because in order for this to work, we need our subjects to be able to move behind him freely. And masking that is going to take too much time. As you can see his elbow here. Let me move up. You see his elbow here moves behind this subject right here. And the old-fashioned way would be to just mask it out. But that takes too much time. But since we got a green screen in the shot, let's use it. So that's what I did. So he is the only one that is, completely keyed out from the background. And in order for this to really work, because his shadow needs to be shown here, because this is the stool's shadow, and he needs to be sitting on top of the stool. And since we have these really wild shadows here, they're pretty strong, and the shot needs to stay consistent. And in order for this to really stay consistent, we would need shadows to be, shown from every character in the scene. And the shadows can't overlap. And when they move into each other, I try my best to use this guy in the middle to cover up this little move here. Let me turn these off so you can see what I'm talking about. You see them moving into each other, and you can tell that's not natural. But I can be lazy with this because you're not really going to see this part. When you got the subject in the middle, coming in and kind of disrupting that. And you're not going to pay much attention to them anyway. Now I can clean this up because this looks a little bit messy, where you got the heads sort of, merging. I mean, if that's what you're looking for, then, by all means. But this clip right here is made to illustrate the different techniques you can use, because most people know how to do the clone effect. But in order for this to really work, you need to be aware of the shadows, the lighting, and you also need to be aware of the position of each character in order for them to interact with each other. Now, let me turn these off. There's this guy, and there's a shadow that he's supposed to be casting. And let's open up the sequence window so you can see what I'm talking about. We have the middle clone. This is without any effects. I need you to take a look at this. You see, you have a large shadow right here. I didn't notice this shadow, so I guess I should add this to the shot because I didn't do so. But anyway, we got this shadow right here. And it moves. It moves the entire time. So how do I get this shadow? Well, I can key it out of the background. I can key the shadow out of the background. And I would have to do this in a separate layer. So let's go into Shadow and Luma, this layer right here. I should also extend this thing. So I'm going to create a second mask. I know it's really hard for you to see what's going on here, but you got this little green area right here. Let me try to turn the effects off so you can see what I'm talking about. You got this green area right here. And let me create a second mask for the other shadow. Now, the shadow on the wall you know, I can't do anything about it because it's not on the green screen, so I can't really key it out. So let's just focus on what we have on the green screen because that is something we can use. Okay, there we go. So now let's just adjust this real quick. And let's adjust the feather of this mask. So maybe turn this up to, I don't know, 30% or whatever. Let's make sure that everything stays in the bounds of the green screen here. So that looks just about right. So when we turn on our effects, because this right here is the Ultra key, so that is what's keying out the background and leaving the shadows. Oh, I need to fix something here. This mask is showing my shoe, and it's not supposed to be doing that. So I'm going to remove that. Okay. So this effect right here, this Ultra key is keying out the background. We still left with the shadows. Now the shadows, you would need this subject right here to move in front. So I'm using this guy right here as a track matte. And this is the same layer from this right here. It is still, let me isolate this. I'm using this clone. I'm using the left clone in order to drive the track matte. Okay. Now for the other side, because I just added another shadow to the other side, I would need to add the right clone in order to drive the track matte as well, or to help drive the track matte, because this shot is complete. So I'm going to need both of these guys to help, you know, mask around the shadows. I hope you really understand where I'm getting at, because this is a little bit unnecessary. But if you've done any type of work, you know, compositing, you'll know how important these details are. So let me bring this clone right here, Control C. Let me paste them here. So let me bring this up here. Let me go into the effects controls, track matte. Let me go to the Ultra key. Ultra key, I'm going to Control X, which is, you know, you're cutting it away. And then I'm going to nest the two sequences here. And I'm going to paste this effect on top. So now it keys out the background. And then I'm going to key out the shadows. So let me just get this done real quick. Okay, let me go to the alpha channel so I can see what I have. Okay, whatever, this will do. Now, let's open up the track matte. And let's go through this real quick. We have, okay, let's give it to, wow, it still doesn't show up. How about I move this up to layer 5? Whatever. So I just figured out what was the problem, and for some reason they're not allowing me to use the track matte effect, the track matte key, on a layer with two opacity masks. That's new, but whatever, you know. I'm going to pre-compose this layer, or nest it, and then I'm going to add the key effect. So I'm keying out the shadows, and then I'm going to add the track matte key to this layer. You have to set the matte to video 2 because video 2 is what I want keyed out. Now you can see the outline of the legs. Let me try to make this more visible. You can see the outline of the legs. So I'm going to reverse this so it can be inverted. And now we just got the shadows with the legs just cutting it out. So now when you go back to the main sequence, now I don't know what happened here. Oh. Oh, of course. I just figured out what was the problem. The problem was the alpha channel. Okay, well, the things you do for tutorials, ain't that right? Okay, so now we got the two shadows. I'm surprised the shadows taking up more time than the actual breakdown of the clone effect. So anyway, so basically this whole thing is comprised of three techniques: stacking layers on top of each other and masking, which you get the two of these layers. And then we got the keying technique, so you can add the next person. Now, in order for him to have any type of presence in the scene, you're going to have to make it believable. So try to stay consistent with the rest of the scene. You got some really dark shadows here, so let's add some dark shadows from the footage itself. So try to retain the shadow. So that's what I did with this layer here. So you see, you got the shadows on both sides. You got this one, and you got this one. So that is how you do it. I'm done.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll be back with some more.